Welcome back to Combat Sports Weekly. This is the Roundtable. Each panelist will get 30 seconds to voice their thoughts and opinions of one of the hottest topics in MMA and boxing. You've all been here before. Let's jump right into it. Roundtable. Introducing first, Ed Nunez on the mic with Mike Adams, 6:10 a.m. When can the guys catch you? Guys and girls, of course, sorry.
Yeah, men, women, hopefully 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. Saturdays.
Yeah, to his right, James Lindenmuth, also of 6:10. When and where can people catch you there?
It's Thursday afternoons, 5:35. Also an occasional caller, so make sure to tune in and check out On the Mic. Big fan.
And to his right, returning again as well, Micah Frankel, Cage Minds MMA. How are you doing, man?
I'm great. I'm sorry I missed the Blazer memo.
Yeah. Nice tie, though. I like the tie.
Oh, yeah, sure. Thanks.
Listen, jump right into it. UFC this past weekend, Cain Velasquez, to most of us, just except Jody, of course, just lost and got outclassed by Fabricio Werdum. Michael, we'll start with you. One, what did you think about the fight? And two, can Cain Velasquez ultimately come back and reclaim that title?
We've seen him lose. He's not injured this time, so he can bounce back. He's done it once before from losing the title. It was weird that he could look good and bad in the same instance because his head movement looked great, and then he get tagged by 3 jabs. It was amazing that his strikes, Werdum walked through them for a guy that didn't walk through them much, and his Werdum's boxing, his straight punches just brutalizing Cain's face. It was all very surprising, especially for a guy that used to be nicknamed Cardio Cain.
Yeah, and that was a little disappointing, especially with that elevation. You're that high in Mexico City. James, what did you think of the contest, and were you as surprised as the rest of us?
Well, I'm glad I didn't bet Jody as you did, so I know I'm not on the losing end of that. But yeah, no, I was surprised. You know, Cain looked like when he first came out that he was going to do what Cain does, and he was going to kind of impose his will. And then Fabricio, you know, really weathered the storm and was able to go ahead and, you know, dominate and finish that fight. Interesting thing is he's got a longer injury layoff that's been imposed than Cain does, 6 months versus 3 months. So when you look at that, you know how good Cain is. Even in a loss, you can look at how good he is. So can he come back and reclaim the title? Absolutely. Absolutely he can.
Yeah. Ed?
You know what I think? One of the things that Daniel Cormier said is there's Cain and there's everybody else. You know, he's had shoulders, he's had knees, he's had some injuries, he's been inactive. I really don't know if he can. I mean, the one caller that we had on 610 said it's illegal to have a DNA like his. And, you know, the guy is built like a rock, man. But, you know, all those injuries and the inactive, there's some young, hungry fighters coming up. I'm kind of skeptical.
Yeah. Do you feel the same way of him being able to come back?
I like the idea, and I don't necessarily say he's the youngest fighter, but I think Adrien Broner right now is the heavyweight to look out for. And that's just because
He trains here.
he trains here. Not only that, but I think he looks great, and he's healthy. He's healthier than ever right now, and he's on a streak. That's my pick for that, and I won, so that's all I care about.
I hate you.
I'm never surprised when I win, but
What I found truly interesting was Werdum saying that this was a bigger win than him than Fedor. I thought that was interesting as well.
Well, that is pretty huge, especially on the level it was against such a talented guy. So, well, definitely, this would be a guy to keep an eye out. If anyone would be able to do it, it would be Cain. We'll move on to the next topic, and James, I'll shoot this one at you. Adrien Broner versus Shawn Porter PBC on NBC. This is a pretty big fight that's not catching a lot of hype, and it's the odds are very close. What do you think about this fight, and who comes out the winner?
Crazy excited, just to say that right off the bat. I mean, because this is a big fight, and the fact that it's not getting the press that it deserves is a little sad. Both guys only have 1 loss. You know, Broner's coming off of 3 wins after his loss to Maidana, the one that we discussed earlier. It was a pretty brutal loss. Porter only has 1 win under his belt since his loss, but you know. Both of these guys are just the up-and-coming welterweights that have been spoken about. I mean, when you look at a guy in Porter, he beat Paulie Malignaggi, which, you know, Malignaggi's a great fighter. It's going to be explosive. It's going to be action-packed. I've got Porter, which, you know, you say the odds are even. I think most people are picking Broner, though.
Yeah. Ed, what do you think of
You
this
know
contest?
what? Both Ohio natives, Boom Boom Mancini has, I think he's picked Broner. And I thought that was an interesting pick there. They've sparred, and apparently Porter's had some trouble with Broner in sparring. So I'm going to give, you know, and I think James's point, 3 straight wins after that devastating loss against Marcos Maidana for Broner. Is he all hype? Is he all mouth? Where's he at? I'll give Broner the slight edge in this fight.
Yeah, it's a very interesting fight, and it's very close, and it's really a stylistic matchup if you think about it. One's the aggressor, the other kind of a counter-puncher, but can also be aggressive. Micah, I know you're on the MMA scene, but this is a fight that boxing fans are pretty hyped about. What do you think?
The DVR set. I'm recording it. I will be watching it. Have it recorded so I can watch it twice just to make sure. watched some Porter highlights, and I'm very excited to watch him fight. I watched Broner's last PBC fight. Not so excited to watch him fight, so I'm hoping Porter wins.
Yeah, what do you think of Adrien Broner? I mean, he's a little cocky. You don't see a whole lot of that in MMA, but do you like that?
I like the cockiness. I just thought he could put more offense together. Beautiful defense, but at some point, you need to land some punches. And I thought for how great his defense was, he could do more offensively.
Jody, I know you're a big Marcos Maidana fan, and he really gave it to Adrien Broner when they fought. Shawn Porter, a lot of people feels has the same style that Maidana has. Do you feel he can give it to Broner?
I do. I think so, and I like that you guys mentioned the wins after the losses, because I think that has a lot to do with a fighter's psyche. You know, how many fights they have going in a row and on that win column, and I think that's huge. I think that's big.
Are we going Porter across the board here?
I've got Porter.
Porter?
He's got Broner, I believe.
I've got
Porter.
Broner. I've got Broner.
Porter.
I've got
Wow.
Broner.
That's pretty surprising. And another matchup that I know you guys are just waiting for, sweating here just as we speak about it. Kimbo Slice versus Ken Shamrock. Your prediction, Mike, I know you have a lot to say about this. Go for it.
My
He
prediction.
laughs.
Hopefully Ken Shamrock does what he's supposed to do, comes out there, takes him down, and snaps something really, really quickly and ends this like it should be and defeats him pretty quickly, and he doesn't mess around and try to get himself knocked out from a guy that has obvious natural power and punching ability.
Any chance that you give Kimbo in this fight at all?
Yeah, if Ken Shamrock really wants to come out there and prove that he believes all of his hype and all the trash that he's coming out this week, you can get a war, and you can very easily see Kimbo winning. MMA fight, if he gets smart about it and his coaches can talk enough, Ken Shamrock wins.
You know, these guys are a little older, but there'll still be a lot of eyes being attracted to this. What do you think about the contest?
Winner by AARP stoppage. You know, I mean, it's winner by injury, maybe. I mean,
Yeah.
of course it's going to get interest. You know, it's anytime you put together two athletes with that kind of name recognition, you're going to get interest. I think Mike is right. If Ken's smart, he'll go out there and he'll try to take him down. Kimbo's got a great shot to win this fight. If Kimbo lands one punch, this is over. I mean, one clean punch at least. Problem is, as we've seen with Kimbo's MMA career, he struggles to land a clean punch once he gets into the cage. So it's going to be interesting.
Yeah, Ed, you got a UFC pioneer against a online fighting
YouTube pioneer.
YouTube sensation
Backyard
pioneer. What do
brawler.
you think about the fight?
Well, you know what? There's a lot of hype to this fight, and I think Kimbo Slice said that they didn't fight; that he's ready to fight bare knuckles in the locker room. So again, look at Ken Shamrock, and I think one thing that James said, look at the wrinkles in Shamrock's head, ARP, that's kind of fitting there. I'm going to take Ken Shamrock, though. I really am. I think Kimbo Slice has seen his better days, so I'll take Ken Shamrock.
Yeah, you? I mean, I know you're the old school person. You're always going for the old school guys.
Yeah, absolutely. Ken Shamrock for sure. Like you said, and that's important to keep in mind. You know, is there any way that Kimbo can win? Yeah, absolutely. Especially in MMA, you have 4-ounce gloves that you're fighting with, and that's a lot of power behind that punch. But, you know, I hope that Ken just beats him and we call it good and we don't have to talk about this stuff again. Like,
Ever
Let's
again.
talk about that there's a world title fight also in that event.
Yeah, no, definitely. I mean, that would be the case. But unfortunately, this is getting more of the hype than the actual title fight or the real important fight. But either
Right.
way, there's going to be a lot of eyes on this. So thank you guys. I really appreciate you coming on. Of course, we'll have you back next week to hit some other topics. But again, make sure you guys follow us on Facebook, Combat Sports Weekly. We'll see you next week.